Hey traders, John Howell here. I want to give you an update on the stock market and the gold and silver mining stocks as well. Let's get straight into it, guys. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into it. A bit of a technical analysis in today's video. Looking at the S&P 500, we can see that if I just zoom in just a lot closer, we can see that we're having a very nice, another nice update. We actually gapped down today, and then we rallied down a little bit, and then we rallied back up, and now we closed at another high point for the day. So it does look like that the stock market wants to try. Let's actually bring up this point through here. Yeah, it does look like the stock market wants to try and race for a new high here. So that's actually very powerful ever since we had this pullback through here, and now we're sort of pushing to the upside. It's interesting what's happened with the whole debt ceiling, and what's happening through there. They haven't actually decided to taper yet, and interest rates are still zero. So there's a lot of floor underneath these markets that's keeping this markets going. So there's nothing here to say that we're likely to see a crash anytime soon. So the probability of continuation to the upside is very high. So we could see actually a close above through there. So let's go have a look at the Dow Jones. And the Dow Jones, pretty much a nothing day across with the Dow Jones through here. Just really a nothing day, but I do see the Dow Jones probably breaking up to all-time new highs and going for a very strong run to finish off the year. Because you know why? Santa Claus, you know the whole Santa Claus rally. I do believe that Santa Claus is going to be coming early, and maybe he's already here and it's just getting started. Moving over now through to the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq is the very interesting one here because we're not really out of the woodworks yet with the Nasdaq yet. But if I do from a Fibonacci point of view, from the low to high, we can see how we are definitely closing above this high point up here. But the interesting thing that I'm noticing with the Nasdaq is that we actually made a significant lower low. So it's getting interesting with the Nasdaq. But again, if we have a look at these weekly charts, we can see on these weekly charts, which are very important to our trading, because these are more like that big waves, like the big forces, and then the daily charts are the small little divots, so to speak. So we can see on the Nasdaq that we're still in a very nice upward trend. So every time we've got one of these pullbacks, we've got a pullback and then we ran. So it's still a massive probability of where we're at right now that we're about to see, or we're likely to see, a very strong continuation to the upside. If I go to my QQQ, I'm just looking at what the QQQ's done for today. We can see that, I'm just looking at it from a perspective of what's happening. Yeah, again, we made a lower low. We are getting a rally through here. So it's not really, we're not out of the woodworks yet. We need to see a break above new highs. Because I do have a target of 17,000 on the Nasdaq. So up through there on the Nasdaq. And then also I have a target of 5,000, which is up there by the end of this year. So to me, I'm still very bullish. That's where my money is also. So my money is where my mouth is. But I must say, traders, that my money is long. I have some investing opportunities and it's long these markets. But I do say, if the market starts to turn and we start to look like we're starting to go into a downward trend, your boy will be out as quick as you can say Santa Claus. And so, but right now, maybe Santa Claus has come to town. Move over now through to gold. And when will gold break out? Because I know a lot of people have just been really focused on gold. Let's go back to this daily charts here. Look at this triangle pattern that we're still in with gold. We are just really squeezing up here. And if you remember my video that I did before, that once gold breaks out, guys, this whole downward phase we've been through here, it's just one of those things that we need to sit back and we need to wait and wait. One thing I remember watching Warren Buffett, and one of Warren Buffett's videos, it really rang home and really helped me many years ago when I watched his video. And Warren Buffett says that the way that he approaches his investing is like a baseball, right? So a guy with a baseball bat, he'll sit there and he'll get a ball thrown at him. No, not that one. next one. 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 And he will wait. He'll wait for as many times until he sees that ball coming towards him. Then he knows, okay, that's the sweet spot. And bam, he hits that. It goes for 6. That's how Warren Buffett does his investing. So I really try to adapt that to my way that I'm trading, where I don't like to trade a lot. I don't like to be in the market all the time. Or should I say, I have a portfolio of positions in the market a lot of the times, but I'm also waiting for things to happen. And that happens to be like gold. Because once gold breaks out, the move will be so big that what happened back here in the middle of 2020, just like back here, is probably going to happen again out of the gold market. So that's looking really, 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 really strong, guys. We just have to be patient, and we need to wait for confirmation of the breaking. Once we start to get this breaking of this level through here, and also there is another trend line coming down through to here as well too, as you can see. So that's the big sort of this is the big triangle pattern. I just forgot the word. This is the big triangle pattern, and so once we're squeezing up and squeezing up. And one thing that I think about when I look at these really big, massive triangle patterns is it squeezes up and squeezes up. And like a hose, right? Like a hose, and you water the garden. And what happens when you put the finger over it? See, it just squirts. Well, that's what's going to happen to gold once we start to really get heated up and break out of this, because we've done nothing for over 12 months. This is the point where a lot of traders are going to do really, 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 really well long-term looking at this here. It's just on the short-term day-by-day basis. You can see it's not really doing much, and it's causing a lot of the impatient and the emotional to become even more impatient and more emotional. And the one thing about these longer-term positions that I see, such as gold, that the market will transfer, it's a transfer of wealth from the emotional and the impatient to the calm and the patient. And so I truly believe 12 months from now, looking at this 12 months from now, those who are patient through this, not much going on, are truly likely to be rewarded big time. The key is to stay calm and stay patient with your positions, and making sure that if you are too emotional about any one given position, then you know that you've got just a little bit too much on your account for your risk. Because if that does turn into a loss and you can't handle it, then you don't want to be in that situation. Because even if the reason why you don't want to be in that situation is because the thing that happens with that is, like, you actually may get into a good trade. You may get into a good trade, but then you may have too much money on there, too much risk on there. That trade doesn't do anything for a couple of days, but the system still says, okay, stay in because there's no reason to get out. You get out for a small loss, even though the rule said don't get out, because you're afraid of having a loss. And then suddenly 2 days later, it runs on for profit. So as you can see, that a lot of the times it's not the system, but it's you, the way you're approaching this and your emotion. That's the reason why a lot of the times, if you have a really good trading system, the trading system side of things is important, but to make sure you have that emotional control. Because if you can have the emotional, you may have, like with my system, has a massive high win-loss ratio, but sometimes, or actually good more than 50% of the time, I'll get in and it will do nothing for a couple of days. This is talking about getting in on the daily chart. I'll get in today, and for 2 or 3 days, it'll do nothing. Might go against me a little bit, but this still hasn't hit my stop loss. And then a week later, it runs on for profit. And that happens so many times. But the people that are emotional, the people that are risking too much, guess what? They're going to get out really, really quickly because they don't want to have a loss. And then something a week later, that thing runs on for profit. So as you can see, a lot of your success, yes, you have your system, but a lot of your success is going to come down to your approach to the way that you're having, what can you do to stay, how you are staying calm and patient and present with the markets has a lot to do with your risk in the markets. And so let's have a look at silver here as well too. And silver is silver is still squeezing up through here. So really not much going on with silver. I see silver being pretty big upward movement, but we're still in a very, very weak sort of downward leg through here. We haven't really changed anything. We had a little down day today, but we're still really squeezing up into this triangle pattern. I do see silver break into the upside, but we'll have to wait and see when that happens. And obviously on the mining stock sector, we're still in this V bottom situation. I'd really like it if we actually had a bit of a pullback down to 31 and then a rally back up, because that'll give us a nice high low. Then that'll be, the whole trend is your friend until the end. And then as you can see, we have a low, we have a high, we get a pullback, high, low, and then we can start to see some sort of upward trend like this. And so if we do get that, then we're probably likely to see a nice move up from there. So that's what I'm looking at with that. And the most important part, traders, is just to stay calm through this very, very choppy and volatile time through October. I do believe we're going to see some really big moves coming in November and December, but right now, please be patient, please be calm. And if the setup is not right for you, please don't trade it. Just sit back and just wait, because I promise you get into that trade, you're going to lose money, and then a really good, which you shouldn't be in the first place, then a really good trade comes around and you're not going to take that, and then that's actually a profitable trade, and there's a massive downward spiral. So just be patient, guys, because the big moves, I believe, are just around the corner. Traders, I want to invite you to my webinar that I'm running today. And on this webinar, I'm going to share with you all the details to my #1 trading system for the last 17 years and how I only trade 1 hour per day. Plus, also going to be learning the 3 secrets that I had to master over the last 17 years to generate a really good income. If you go to johnsfreetraining.com, or there should be a link in the description, click on that, go over there right now, register. If you are struggling with the trading right now, I promise you this is going to completely game change, because you're going to understand why you are going backwards and why you're losing money. And then I'm going to teach you exactly what the system I use that gets me a really high % win-loss ratio. So this is what I want you to do right now. Go to johnsfreetraining.com. Go over there, register for my webinar right now today, because you're going to absolutely love it. Or there should be a link in the description. And I look forward to seeing you on the webinar. So go to that right now, and I look forward to seeing you on my next webinar. Go to that right now. Go to johnsfreetraining.com. Go to that right now.